Hey everyone. I am excited today actually because I'm going to do something that I have not done in a very long time. And I've only shared it with very few people. I want to share with you my story. I know that when you look right up there, you can see that there's some letters after my name that shows that I am actually a licensed mental health counselor. But what you don't understand is why I am a counselor. Why did I choose to go in to this field? I think knowing this will bring a lot of understanding. I'm hoping it reduces a little bit of the stigma that gets attached to mental health issues and emotional health issues. There are things that define us and make us who we are, the experiences, the circumstances in life. And I would love to say that I have always sounded this strong and always felt this confident and looked this energetic and hopeful, but I can't say that's the case. Back on January the 12th of 1994, I had my first full blown panic attack that actually sent me to the emergency room. I was questioned of what drugs I was taking, even though I had never taken an illegal, unprescribed drug in my life. I was very confused when I was asked that question, and that was just on the intake when they were taking me in. And it gets a little stranger because when I got back into the room and me sitting there freaking out, I'm literally just shaking. I am freaking the heck out. I knew that at that point in time, I just knew that I was either dying or that I was having a complete mental meltdown, breakdown, whatever they wanted to call it, of it was bad. I had been going through 8 hours of just an up and down roller coaster ride of panic, and your body can only stay there for so long, so it starts to come down. But then all of a sudden, my brain would shoot it right back up, thoughts and emotions, everything I was experiencing. And this went on. This roller coaster ride went on for 8 hours, and finally, I just looked and I said, "I got to go to the hospital. Something is seriously wrong with me." And when I got back in the back, the doctor looked at me and she said something that literally blew my mind. She asked me what's wrong. And I told her, I said, actually, I'm not really sure. My mom had told me something about an anxiety attack, something about a panic attack. I said, and I think that that's what I'm dealing with. I said, have you ever heard of that? The ER doctor literally said to me, and you talk about scaring me, she said to me two things. Number one, no, I've never heard of such a thing. And then number two, would you like me to call from someone from up in the psych ward to come down here and work with you? All I saw was guys coming down in white coats and was going to drag my rear end to the psych ward, and they were going to put me on a Haldol, Thorazine drip, something. The first thing I thought of, and it's actually funny, the first thing I thought of was Jack Nicholson and the bird flew over the cuckoo's nest. I got that idea that went through my mind. But now I can laugh about it. But then it was absolutely terrifying. But see, you need to know what my life was like prior to that. Prior to that, I was outgoing. I had friends. I had no problems with dating. I was very big into sports. I'd been in sports my entire life. I ramped bikes off of the back deck when we built a ramp, and our deck was 4 feet off the ground, and never thought a thing about it. I wasn't afraid of anything. It was my dad was actually a little bit afraid. He wouldn't even buy me a horse, even though we lived on a farm, or a go-kart or a mini bike. None of those things that I would really love to have had. I didn't get any of those things because I think he thought I was a little daredevil and wasn't afraid of anything. Well, laughs on him because I rode the cow that was out on our pasture instead. Yes, you heard me right. I rode a cow. Dad wouldn't buy me a horse, so I rode a cow. I went on through high school basketball, threw my body all over the floor, ran, I broke an ankle, had my nose broke. You might be able to tell that. You could probably tell my nose been broken a few times. But nothing bothered. I had my tooth put through my lip. Thank you, Coach Hall. During practice, my senior year playing basketball, I just pulled it out, spit, and went on through practice. That's the person I was. I was outgoing, traveling. Man, I love to travel. I love to fly. It was crazy. I loved to fly. I flew when I was 16 years old to my cousin's house that had gotten married and moved to Florida. And here we live in Kentucky. And I flew by myself and I had a 4-hour layover in Charlotte, North Carolina, the Charlotte International Airport. And I had only flown one other time in my life, but I flew down, and I had a blast. And nothing scared me. And that was the type of life that I lived. But on that January, cold, damp, I can remember it like it was yesterday. It was dark. It was gray. That cold January 12th of 1994, that day literally changed my life forever. It was at that very moment. It wasn't a gradual thing like I hear some people talk about. Mine was instantaneous phobia, to where I was almost agoraphobic. I stayed at my house or at my mom's house, my dad's house, my grandparents' house, and I only went out to any place, whether it was to go out to just simply go to the grocery store. I only went out in times that they went with me. My mom, my dad, my grandparents, that was it. I couldn't even trust my wife. I didn't feel comfortable even with my wife. I was still having panic attacks. I couldn't go anywhere with just her. And this went on for almost 2 years, where I was nearly housebound. I could not go back into Walmart or a grocery store without, number one, holding on to a buggy because it felt like my legs were going to just shake out from underneath me. I was afraid of passing out, falling out right there. And then how humiliating would it be? What if I collapsed? Because sometimes with a panic attack, you feel like you're going to pass out. I never did, but it was that fear. And I could not go further back in the store than where I could see the front door or see the front glass. I couldn't go into Walmart further than I could get to an exit to where I could literally see the exit door. Going to a restaurant, are you serious? With all the crowd and the loud? The Texas Roadhouse had just come in, and the thoughts of going into the Texas Roadhouse here in Ashland with the noise, with how loud it was, with the number of people that are around, it wasn't happening. I would sit there and try to eat, and I was literally shaking just trying to eat. I white knuckled myself through something that used to, I absolutely had a blast doing. Going to the movies, that wasn't happening. I don't care how much I wanted to see the movie. Back then, we had videotapes. We don't have the streaming. We didn't have even the CDs, the DVDs hadn't even gotten there yet. They were on their way, but VHS tapes, if it didn't come out on that, where I could watch it at home, I didn't watch it. I didn't see it. I couldn't work. I had to literally drop out of college on my last semester of my senior year, and it took me 2 more years to actually go back and take the classes to complete my degree, my undergraduate degree. That's how severe my anxiety had gotten to. Sports, by the way, that was completely out of the question. That was gone. I was afraid of getting my heart rate up because I was afraid honestly, I was going to die of a heart attack. Thought my heart was just going to explode. And then, of course, when you start feeling your heart beat faster, then panic sets in, shoots adrenaline and cortisol into my system, sends me into the fight or flight. And so, therefore, that sent it up even higher. So, even getting exercise, something that's actually very good for anxiety, was off the table for me because I couldn't get my heart rate up for fear of dying, and which would therefore bring on a panic attack. It was a few years later that I finally had found a medication. I was going to counselors and I was trying a medication. It started out okay, but then it didn't work. It was one of the old, what they're called a tricyclic. And then the SSRIs came out, and I had read an article about Paxil and how Paxil could help. And through counseling and Paxil, I was able to, and a lot of reading, just thought you wouldn't believe the size of my library that dealt directly with OCD, that dealt with panic disorder, that dealt with depression, because I had it all. But I had read, I had studied, I had gotten in contact with some people. When a counselor looked at me with he actually had his PhD at the time, and the counselor looked at me and he literally said the words that basically terrified me to the point that I thought, what?